Welcome to Eating Glass. We're your hosts, Cole.
And I'm Lucas.
We started a successful marketing agency at 16 years old.
And in this podcast, we and other entrepreneurs will talk about our mistakes in business and how to correctly avoid them.
So you don't have to eat glass like us. So you're probably wondering, what did we do that made us eat glass? We're going to go over that now.
Yeah. So our first business idea, I think, Cole, you came to me in our 10th grade lunchroom. We were just, I think it was like pizza day or something, Friday. And you came up to me and you were like, I want to start a business. Do you want it? And yeah. I was immediately skeptical, and I was like, this never happens. I've never heard of somebody in sophomore year who's ever even come close to forming a successful business. And I got to say, I'm happy we did. But do you want to go over our first idea?
Yeah. So at this point, we were both just kind of reading into business. We were also very interested in business, and we wanted to get in that in the future. And we just decided to start it now. So we got captured by all those people online with Amazon FBA. And to be fair, it would work if you put a lot of effort and money into it, but we didn't have a lot of time and money. So
yeah, that's true.
But we found that out later. But the first thing we came up with was the idea of selling and flipping graphics cards, like the new RTX 3080s.
The 3080s, 3090s at that point.
On Amazon. So we were going to go and try to get a contract with some major distributors and then just flip them for a profit.
Yeah.
And we were really trying to just capitalize on the fact that there was a big inflation in price since of the chip shortage that was going on at the time back in like
that was
2021.
Yeah, 2021 at that point. Yeah, ancient times.
Yeah, last year.
Yep.
And we just wanted to capitalize on that. And we also we both love gaming, so we loved the idea of selling graphics cards. That was something we knew well.
Maybe keeping a couple for ourselves.
Yeah, that was definitely part of the plan too.
Yeah, but it was a very good idea at the time. But the problem we very quickly ran into was we don't have an investor, we don't have time, and we don't have money to be flipping graphics cards like this. We were running into troubles with distributors.
Yeah.
We were running into troubles with how to actually list these and get over other listings. And it was just so many variables that would put this entire thing off the rails. Yeah. And if we went through the trouble of getting an investor, we could put ourselves into mountains of debt at just the age of 60. And that would not be fun. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, because the thing is, it would cost a little bit of money to get that started, to buy the product and stuff. And the really big issue for us was we only had a small budget. We had $5,000. Yeah. And most of these distributors, they require for you to buy in bulk.
Yeah.
So
wholesale. They
would want you to buy like at least 20 to 100 units. Mm-hmm. And each one of those units is about $500. So
we can't afford that.
Right there, we're already at $10,000 just for the 20 units. And then we had to go through the process of trying to sell those on Amazon. We thought it would be pretty easy since everyone's just buying at the things, and it probably would have gone well if we got the product. But the problem is we couldn't get the product because the distributors wanted a lot of information, like your bank statements and trade references and stuff, but we never did anything. We never had we never bought stuff. Mm-hmm. We didn't have money in our account yet. So
yeah, that's, whenever some of you are going out there and applying for jobs, it's going to be, you're fresh out of college, you're fresh out of high school, something like that. Okay, what experience do you have? Because we're only hiring with experience, but you can't be hired for experience if you don't have any experience, and you can't get experience if everybody is hiring for experience.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the issue we ran into. There was no way to really get started without having some former business already running.
Yeah.
Because so we moved on.
Yeah, they wanted a trade reference, which is basically, if you guys don't know, a trade reference is a statement by another company or another individual that has done business with you that it's basically just like credit with your bank. It's credit in business where another company can see that you're credible and you pay on time and stuff. And we also need a bank reference to see if we actually had the cash and credit to afford the shipments.
Yeah.
And we had none of that. So
it was like we were in for quite the roller coaster. And it was around this time that the term eating glass started getting thrown around, because I believe it was, well, where did you first hear that? Cool.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Yeah, the big guy in charge. You know, you got to eat a little bit of glass to start a business. And well, that was just the beginning. That was the appetizer, I would say.
Yeah, that was our first, that was our little taste tester.
Yes.
And that wasn't even that bad, to be honest. It kind of failed. The worst part about it was just, since we're doing stuff differently, a lot of people they laugh at you and they're like, "Oh, your business failed. What are you doing? Why are you even trying to do this here?" And
we ran into plenty of social pushback as well. I mean, and that was before we even got into our successful part of the business.
Yeah.
You go around telling people that you're starting a business at this age, and it can become tense around people, because it's like you're throwing around the terms like trying to hire some people, and it gets tough.
Yeah, and people kind of feel threatened that you're moving so quickly and you're becoming successful while they're not.
Exactly. And it's not to put anybody down by saying that, but it's just, it's a truth of human nature. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just natural. But it was definitely quite the hard beginning. But we actually we didn't move on from that business model quite yet. We didn't, just jump off the train right away. We moved up a car. So we decided, okay, let's just completely forget about this graphics card dream. That stuff costs way too much money for what we have.
And the other problem was the market for graphics cards was very quickly settling down.
Yeah.
So every day that passed, the price would be lower and lower on Amazon. And that was because they're getting more chips shipped in. So it was easier to get more graphics cards, which means there was lower prices.
It was tough to join a rush that late.
Yeah. So we decided to go full hook and sinker on the Amazon thing. And we were going to get into a course where we pay someone that was online to teach us to do it.
We got into a Zoom call and they told us, this is what we do. We have a 100% guarantee that you will make money off of this. And they charged something ridiculous for what they were doing. And it was a good idea for their business model, like sell your own success. That's something that they definitely want to do. That's partially what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So it's just the business models there didn't work out for us. It was a lot of scams that we felt like we were falling into. And that's the thing about those business to business mentorships is kind of like, you got to really find the good ones. You don't want to join something. You don't want to pay $5,000 to go into a few Zoom calls in a small community just to figure out that you're doing everything wrong and that nobody's going to help. And it's just, a lot of those people, they just take your money and run with it. So definitely when you guys are out there choosing a mentorship course, if you even want to do one, honestly, you can do without one.
You should.
Yeah, you definitely. You can choose one and they're very good, but it is possible to do it without one.
It's going to be a lot harder though.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's very important to get a mentorship and teach yourself about this stuff. If you're just going in blind, you're going to fail a lot.
Yeah.
But when you're going to find your mentor, it is 100% necessary to find someone that actually does what they preach. And the problem was most of these mentors that you see online, maybe their Amazon business makes $100,000 a year, which that's okay, but that's not very great.
You can upscale that a lot.
They make most of their money from the actual program itself.
Exactly.
And the program we were looking at, what they would do, their guarantee was basically their team is going to go find you a good product and with their system and go and tell you all the information and stuff, help you pitch it to the Chinese so you can ship it out. They would keep helping you and walking you through it hand to hand, holding your hand until you had a profitable product. So you could even make $1 on your product. And they're like, oh, it's profitable. We don't need to help you anymore. Exactly. And the problem was they're not teaching you how to do it. They're just doing it for you. So once you make your $1,
they're out of there.
Now they're gone. They just disappear.
And the one thing that they screamed at us was, we will give you a Facebook group. And this was all they left you with. They were like, you get our software while you're with us.
Facebook group of people that don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah. So. But you also get contact once you're done with our program, lifetime contact with this Facebook group that nobody's active in. And it's like, it's an inactive group of people that stopped trying a long time ago. And you're never going to find anybody successful in a Facebook group of a
Well, not
mentorship
necessarily.
program.
Not necessarily.
Of a mentorship program.
Yeah.
Like they're the only people that are going to be active in that Facebook group are people that haven't found their own success. So what you want to do is you want to shoot really high. I mean, personally, you can see Cole is wearing a 10X hat if you want to show that off a little. I have one at home. We used Grant Cardone. He has
That's right.
Yeah, he has a great mentorship, and we'll get more into that later. But first and foremost, we didn't do well with Amazon. I'm sorry, Jeff Bezos, but it didn't work out. And
yeah, we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
We were going in there like, oh, we'll make $500, but we hadn't calculated for all the fees and Amazon and shipping and all that. So
it was just
we really didn't know what we were doing,
man. Yeah.
And our parents convinced us to not do that and spend like 10 grand on that mentorship thing.
Yep.
Because it wasn't going to work out.
Seemed like a scam.
So then,
like a total scam.
And at the same time, we're also reading a lot of books, educating ourselves as much as we can.
Plenty of research.
And then we decided we're going to get into the merch selling business.
We did. And that was a very small chapter.
that lasted about 3 days.
Yeah, we were like, okay, let's not do this. This is not going to work.
We had our company named Quantech by then. Yep. We're going to name it like Quantech, like electronics or something for the graphics card thing. At that point, we bought 2 sweatshirts for ourselves because we just thought it was cool that we had a business, right? And we called it advertising, but who are we advertising to? We're not even running business. Yeah. But we decided that we're going to go sell our merchandise to the whole school. So we basically created a pyramid scheme.
We did.
Where like different people could go sell our products and get a cut. And then they could hire other people to also sell products, but then they get a cut and then we get the big cut.
It was a legitimate accidental pyramid scheme. Like that is not.
It wasn't accidental.
Whoa. Let's be real here. This was not a let's start a pyramid scheme and put it on the school kind of situation. This was I want to sell merchandise. This is an efficient way to sell a lot of merchandise, get popular with it. Just like get the merchandise popular and also funnel the money to the top. And that exactly what I just said is how a pyramid scheme was started.
Well, we also were thinking about maybe we could like sell the graphics cards we were going to do to different people we know too. But the same problem we ran into. So
for you do not start a pyramid scheme. It will never end well. Luckily, we stopped ourselves before.
After 3 days.
Yeah, after 3 days.
We didn't even do anything. We just said, like, you want to join a pyramid scheme? And they're like, okay. And then we just decided it wasn't a good idea.
It would have done something, but it was not a viable business option for the future.
We would have made like $10 or something.
Yeah. The way, what we want to do what we wanted back then was exactly what we have now. We want a long-term business that we can grow off of.
Specifically something that's more passive,
exactly,
where we could kind of make money in the background, because we really wanted this business so we could invest in real estate, because that was our really big goal, and that's what we got into next. Real estate.
We just kind of jumped the gun on that one.
I think we decided we don't need money anymore. Well, to be honest, you can do deals without money, but you need a lot of experience. So
and just like a really big portfolio of how you're actually trustworthy. But I mean, it's
because to do deals without money, you need a lot of connections so you can get those private investors in.
Yeah.
Since you can't just use the bank for that. The bank won't really, unless it's very certain specific circumstances. I can't speak. They're not going to fund 100% of the money. So but we decided that we're going to get into Airbnb.
Yep.
With the rental arbitrage. We got captured by another person online.
We did.
But so we tried that out. We went and we found a property on a lake, and we contacted the owner, or we tried to at least, to see if we could pay them. So really the idea is you want to give them like 3 months, like 3-month contract of guaranteed rent, and you get it a little bit less than what they're usually charging. And then you can charge like where the location was. We could have charged like $600 to $1,000 a night for that property. Since it was on the lake, it was a really nice house, at a boat house and everything. And then we would put that online on Airbnb, and that was the idea. But then when we actually contacted the person, you want to tell them what happened?
Yeah. So they weren't the most pleasant person to talk to. It was pretty harsh. It was more like a laugh in your face, you guys have no idea what you're doing kind of situation. It's a tough world, It's like a couple of 16-year-olds trying to start something, and it's you're going to get laughed at a few times.
It's not the easiest to convince people at 16 years old.
Definitely.
To take over their property and pay them rent. Like they
will not listen to you. Like they just will not. And you might be wondering, how the hell did we do this when we were under 18? Because there's a lot of laws against that, but against, owning a property, managing a property under 18. And the truth is, we have, and this is a very good tip for you guys, an LLC that has legal adults in it. So people over 18, we have 0% shares in our LLC, and they're actually family members.
Yeah, well, we have 50%, but our family members have 0% with the specific capability of signing certain legal documents for our business. Exactly. So since we're under 18, it's hard to sign certain things. Since we are part of our company, we're really signing for our company. Those things we can sign for because it's really holding the company liable. But that's how we got into these certain things, because once we have a company established, then it's a separate entity, so you can do business as an entity, not yourself.
Exactly.
So that allows us to do things that you wouldn't normally be able to do under 18, such as
rental properties.
Yes.
Yeah. It becomes quite easier to do a lot of things in the market like that. But back to the rental property. Guy was mean. It did not work out. He was unhappy with the sublease. He didn't think what we were doing was right. He didn't think that we knew what we were doing at all. And it was overall just not the best interaction. But it turned out that was a good thing, because I don't think we even gave another shot at real estate. We were just like, okay, didn't work. Let's go.
And we did. After getting rejected once, we kind of just gave up on that, to be honest.
Which may have not been the right thing to do. Maybe we should have given it another shot. But for us, it did work out.
After the whole real estate thing, we decided that we need to come up with a new idea. The Amazon thing wasn't going to work. The real estate thing, we would need a lot of money for that too. So we sat back. We thought for a couple of weeks, and we were really just trying to find a good idea that had a good opportunity for passive income, but also didn't cost very much money to get into.
Exactly.
So we really didn't do anything for the next month. We were just thinking about ideas, doing different things until we reached the end of sophomore year.
Yeah, that was when it really started to change. And over that summer, we figured we have all the time in the world. Let's do something, that's actually going to lift us up, start a real business.
Yeah. So we really started looking into different ideas that we could take advantage of that other people weren't doing in Manchester. So the idea we came up with was a virtual reality store.
Yeah, like an experience.
Yeah, like an experience place where you can go in and play virtual reality. Because when we traveled to other places like California and stuff, they have all these virtual reality places, and it's always booked up. They charge a lot, and there was nothing like that anywhere near us. And we were a little bit concerned that there wasn't anything, because it made us think that maybe there's some law we don't know about, or some very difficult part of it that we don't know about. But we thought we'd give it a shot.
Yeah, so it was a little tough to find, okay, how do we start? How does this actually come to be a business? Mm-hmm. And our first idea was, okay, let's go look for a location. So we drove around our hometown of Manchester, and we looked for, just locations that had, furnished, a car, maybe a nice carpet, things like that. We were looking for a break room that could have a bathroom and a table, and maybe even we could put a microwave somewhere. So some sort of back room, some sort of storage room. But the biggest thing that really mattered to us was having enough electrical outlets, because redoing all of the electrical in the place could really screw us up. It would cost a lot more. And we'll get more into cost later. But do you want to talk about the location we actually found?
Yeah, so we drove around South Willow a lot. We were really interested in South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire, because that's the biggest road in the city. There's a lot of traffic there. It's right next to the mall. So there's a lot of people looking for fun things around the area. So we went through and toured a couple of different rental places there, and we had a couple that we liked. and we decided on one.
We did, yeah. It was an old Sprint store, Sprint Cellular, if you guys don't know it. It had been empty for quite a while already, and we had decided, okay, you told me this place looks awesome. Let's go check it out together. We went there, we pulled up, we looked inside, a nice flat carpet, back room
Yeah.
storage, table, enough room for all the furnishings, and it was just like a perfect back room. And since it was a cellular store, if you guys have ever been in one, I'm assuming you have, it is like outlets for phone displays all around the outside of the store.
And in the middle, too.
And in the middle as well. There were outlets absolutely everywhere, which is perfect because we wanted to install computer cubbies and we wanted to put in VR systems in different parts of the store. And the square footage was absolutely perfect. So we found our location. Then we actually came up with, okay, how are we going to get this budget? How much are we going to need? We need to talk to the owner of this area and see like if there's any restrictions or, requirements to be met with how we build up this place. And also staffing. Staffing was a big part of this. You want to talk
about what we found was this place was going to cost $27 per square foot. So it's pretty expensive because it's in a good location. But, and that means that it would cost, if I remember correctly, about $4,000 to $5,000 a month in rent.
Yeah.
For that one place.
Somewhere around there. And we did not have that money, if you remember from earlier.
Yeah. So, I mean, we thought we could do it. We thought we could get some investors in. But then we had to go into all the other costs.
Yeah.
So then we had to calculate the cost of how much it would cost to install these VR systems, build out the whole place, and have enough money left over to market our business so people actually know about it.
And to staff it,
and have enough money for excess like cash. So we have enough money to be able to run it for multiple months until we can become profitable.
Exactly.
So it was a very risky plan.
It was extremely risky, but we knew it would eventually most likely work. I think the first thing we ran into before we did anything was how much is a sign going to cost?
Yeah.
We needed a big industrially made sign for the product.
Yeah.
That was one of the requirements in the lot. We could not afford half of a sign. So we were like, banner, that was also, wow, banners are expensive. The truth is $5,000 is not a lot of money when you're trying to open a retail store. That is very obvious to a lot of people. I'm sorry to all the retail store owners out there, all the property owners. We didn't know, now we know. And I praise you for all of the work you put in. But like, it was a very eye-opening experience.
Yeah, so after running through all the costs, it was going to cost us about $25,000 to build out the place and get the equipment.
Yep.
Along with hire some people at like $15 an hour or something. Because the thing is, we have school during the day, so we can't run the shop all the time.
Yep.
But with a VR place, there's not going to be people in the day, really. It's going to be in the afternoon. But still, we have a lot of other stuff we got to do. So we needed employees. And after all that, it was going to cost us about $7,000 to $10,000 a month in negative cash flow to keep the thing running with rent expenses like internet, electricity, employees. And that means that if we wanted to have 3 months of backup funds while we're still getting off the ground, we need another $30,000 basically.
Exactly.
So we're looking at like $50,000 to $60,000 in starting costs compared to the $5,000 we couldn't afford with Amazon.
It was a jump.
Okay, so following with the retail and the real estate and that whole mess that we went through, let's talk about how we actually got started with our whole marketing scheme and how we got to where we are today. Like how did we start this? And what I remember is we spend quite a lot of time just doing general research and just, educating ourselves. Although, we're not giving ourselves a college level education out here, reading online texts and things like that. But we are getting useful info. And that was around the time that we started using Grant Cardone from 10X.
Yeah. So I was on the way back from the trip where we kind of like, for my cruise that I did at the end of May. And that was really where we're doing a lot of the brainstorming for for the VR thing. And on the way back, we were still very set on the whole idea of this VR thing, and we were going to try to make it happen. Our goal was to get that thing opened within a month so we could start producing revenue before I had to leave for a backpacking trip in the beginning of August. So we were trying to plan out this whole process of building out a store, getting it rented, get the investment, like, you know?
Yep.
And we were in over our head. But
it was so much.
But when we got back, when I was getting back on the plane ride back, I was thinking about it. And when I got to the airport in, I think it was Chicago, I saw an ad for the Grant Cardone's 10x marketing course. And I saw it and I'm like, this is going to be a good marketing experience for getting our VR place known.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even thinking about what I could do with that marketing experience. I was just thinking about the VR thing. And we kind of thought about that for a while. I ended up buying the course. There was a special deal, which is how we sell everything. There's always a special deal.
Always a special deal.
Yep.
And we
a
do
special
that as
deal
well,
24/7.
Well, I mean, you could say our course itself is a special deal, but I mean, yeah, it kind of looks that way.
Yeah, and it wasn't long after that we kind of dished the whole VR thing. We had no idea what to do for that. So,
but following up, after we did our research and we decided, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this thing. We're going to start a marketing company. The first thing we did was we started doing cold calls. Well, no, sorry. The first thing we
not
did,
necessarily.
We knew about cold calls and we did a little bit of research on them. But at first we got, I believe it was $100 from both of us, something like that.
Yeah.
And we put it into advertising on Google Ads, Google Ads and YouTube also. And what we found out, and this is a really good tip for anybody trying to run ads out there, YouTube sucks. And Google Ads is the way to go. You just don't bother with YouTube if you're a small business, because they're getting shoved down by Grammarly. So yeah, but it wasn't easy. You were getting like 80 cents a click. So it was something crazy.
Yeah.
And then
YouTube,
Google Ads, we were getting so
you have to. YouTube is good if you have budget, because YouTube, since it's video and YouTube has the best. YouTube is the best social media platform for retention and audience interaction. So YouTube is the best way to really get the attention of people and create interaction out of it. But it's also a lot more expensive. When you're running campaigns on there for the first time, and I'd also like to mention, you have to have some high quality video ads to make anything work on there, or a lot of experience in marketing your business, or you could hire out a company.
Yep.
But the thing is, it's very expensive. So for us, it was costing about, I think, $5 a click or something at one point. It was
something crazy at the start. Yeah, it was not fun.
Yeah. And then we switched over to Google Ads. We're just like general Google Ads. YouTube's a part of Google Ads, but we switched over to text ads and image ads on just the Google search engine. Yep. And that works so much better. We cut our costs by like 50 times or something. We were like below 30 cents a click.
It was incredible how much attention we were getting. And we were certain that it was going to come of something. Like we were like, okay, it's any second now that somebody's going to click this and they're going to love what we do. And little did we know that we sucked at designing a lot of things. And anybody that clicked on our website was like, okay, I'm about to lose my credit card info. So we had to, and this is another really good tip for anybody out there designing a website. The color red is not good.
Yes.
It's not good for text. It's not good for backgrounds. What you want to be leaning towards is like lean, professional, well-cut websites, a lot of black and white.
And blue.
And blue, definitely. You want to use blue. And purple. Purple can even be used to emphasize some things, but don't overuse it or else it will look like an unprofessionally scammed website.
It's interesting. I saw a study that compared different, actually, I think I heard this from someone I know, that different colored text, like they tested a bunch of different colored texts on like sales funnels and different websites. And actually the color, like not like a medium shade of blue. So like you're when you think blue, just like that normal color, not like a dark blue or a light blue, just the normal shade of blue, that was the best. Like people, it subconsciously builds trust somehow. So I don't know how that works. I'm not a brain doctor.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah. So you definitely want to utilize that. That's just a quick tip. But back to our business, how we got this whole thing started.
So the first thing we did to get started was we built out our sales funnels. We built out an email campaign with automated emails. So the idea was we get people flowing from Google Ads and other sources of advertising into our website where we could capture an email address and give them a certain thing in return. So what we got, this came with something we bought. We got a very nice report made for us that it's a 7-step report. You can get it on our website and it just breaks down all the things you need to know about social media and how to make it work. And how we use that was we put it behind an option wall. So using a basic squeeze page, we can direct the customer through this website into opting in for the email where they get their free guide. So now we get their email address where we can then follow up with them personally. They'll get automated emails from us, your general email marketing campaign. And that was how we were going to run our business.
It was an automated process that would process people for us, low maintenance, but high cost is what it turned out to be. And we ran out of funding. And by that point, it was a lot of, okay, where do we go from here? Because I'm not about to go ask more people for more money. I feel horrible doing that. And I feel like I'm just milking the people around me. And I don't like feeling like a leech. So what we figured was, okay, let's learn a little bit more about cold calls and let's give some a shot.
We'll go the manual route.
We'll go the manual route because that doesn't cost money. We both have
energy.
Infinite sell plans. Yeah. So it works. And, it goes, it went well is how it went. We did 100 calls. I got 100 calls done. He was gone for about a week. Cole, I don't know where you went at that point, but you were gone for about a week. You go everywhere anytime. So you just disappear. But he was gone for about a week. I definitely working a job.
Kidnapped by a Mexican cartel.
That happens once in a while, but that's not a viable excuse in my opinion. So I still work the summers as a landscaper, and I was running a store for a week. That week he was gone. So I would sit down. It was a relatively low customer store. I just ran a register. I was the only person working. I would manage it just the weekends. And it would essentially turn into I go into work, and I quote unquote work, and I bring my laptop with me. And as soon as I go in, I set up the displays and things like that. And then I sit down at a table and I start making cold calls. And I got through quite a lot of calls. I got through plenty of calls. And if any of you out there have ever done cold calls, and if any of you haven't, this is what happens.
They suck.
They suck. They are the worst. They are so bad. Nobody wants to talk to you. Newsflash, everybody hates you when you're calling to sell them something. So you got to have very strong morals to get past a lot of these things, because I've had people hang up on me. I've had people curse me out, like all the normal things that salespeople know. And it's just like, people can be really mean. That's okay though, because you are trying to take their money. I mean, it's a little warranted. I get it. But eventually we got through, and we had some more hot leads. And I mean, we had all the leads we ended up getting from cold calling. None of the ones we made, I think, ever really turned into anything. There was one that we followed for a while, but it ended up going cold. And it was and this is around the point that we started getting really, really, really bored of doing cold calls. So,
But we kept
Cole,
doing them. So
yeah, we kept doing them. We kept doing them.
I'd like
But
to
there
note
was
that
other thing.
Lucas left out a very important part about the job he worked at. And that was the fact that they had like 2 people that went in there every day.
Yeah,
So
it was a
this-
low maintenance job.
So this company he worked for made about like $15 a week. And he's getting paid $15 an hour.
Let's be honest here, okay? You know, if that company's listening, look, I know you I know you know that I know. We have good marketing services, you know. Like I'm perfectly happy to offer them to you. I could even give you a discount if I'm just saying, you know. But we'll talk about that another time. Our website you can contact us through is quantechmarketing.com. But yeah, just take a look at that. You know, send me an email. But
Yeah, so we started getting really tired of the cold calls.
Yeah.
So we tried a new technique. And that new technique was targeting people in magazine ads. They're already paying for magazine ads, and like that tells us already that they're looking for new customers. And I got this idea from like another person I know, and it's a great idea. It worked really well for us because we can basically just pick up this magazine for free that gets put in our mail. And I know everyone here gets the same thing, and you just throw in the trash, right? So that's what we're saying. We call these guys up. We say, I know you're paying this much a month, because we can look at how much they're paying online, and we can offer you the same price, but get you all over social media every day, multiple times a day. People are using it over 2 hours a day. So you're going to reach your audience. And the thing is, they really liked it because these people are looking for customers. They know that the magazine ad isn't working because they think they're paying for a month of service, but they really send it out once a month. And then everyone, like maybe 1% of the people actually look at it, and the other 99% just throw it in their trash can. And then
it's junk mail.
If you're lucky, maybe the trash collector will look at it, but I don't know. I don't know if that's...
Maybe that homeless guy that lives in your local junkyard will dig it out from under that car, and you know, just that sort of thing. But that's obviously really not your market.
Yeah.
It did work well because we got the golden line, which is when you're leaving a voicemail, nobody returns voicemails from salesmen. But when you're leaving a voicemail, you can say, hey, I saw your ad in this newspaper or this magazine, and we have a lot of good ideas for you. And that's all you say. You leave it vague.
We learned the technique of being very vague in a voicemail, and you want to create intrigue because that's the only way people are going to call you back. If they're like, just, like, what are they going to offer me? Why do I need to call them? I don't want to talk to someone. But they're like, if you're like, hey, I saw your magazine ad. I'm very interested. Give me a call back. I got a couple ideas.
Yeah, maybe not that creepy, but hey, I saw your ad, and I was thinking maybe we could get together sometime. You know, maybe do some.
That wasn't really part of the sales
marketing
process, but
yeah, that's stupid.
But we got a lot of calls back, actually.
We did.
We had never gone a call back ever.
Yeah, not a single voicemail returned until then.
Yeah, and it worked. Actually, Rob, you're going to hear in the next episode, he was one of the people we called. And
Rob Ashworth, great guy. Yeah. Great guy, by the way.
You should check out his business.
Guy, yeah.
Pet Stop. Yeah. Awesome business.
Pet Stop, New Hampshire. Great place. Props to you, Rob. You're cool. But yeah, it turned out really well. So immediately after that, we stopped doing that. And we decided we're not going to do as many cold calls ourselves. Let's find some people to do them for us.
Well, right? we didn't just stop. We still did them.
We didn't. Yeah. We still did them, but not in as much volume. Yeah. We kind of grinded out cold calls, and we got really, really physically tired of doing them. So we hired out contractors. And this is where
Yeah.
independent contractors came into play. If you want to go over that a little.
Yeah, so we got the idea to leverage other people, and since most of the people we know, they're already working at like pretty, like, I don't know, just like part-time jobs. They're just like young kids, they want a little bit of extra cash.
Yeah, side hustle.
And so what we offered was, since we didn't have cash flow at this point to pay out a natural employee or enough cash to really hire someone out. So we went the independent contractor route, where we give commission, strictly commission, and little
With bonus.
bonuses. Yeah.
With bonuses, yeah.
So we'd give a certain amount of commission for the first month payment. So if they could just call up a business, and all they had to do was call up a business and get them on a Zoom call with us. That's all they had to do. We take over everything from there. Because at the same time, since we're hiring out new people, we don't want to give all the control of the sales process to them. We just wanted to give them the tiny little bit. All they got to do is know a little bit about our business, know what we do, and just pitch this person to get on a Zoom call. That's all they had to do. And it worked. Actually,
It worked
I was
great.
very surprised how well this worked.
It was like first call for some of our contractors that they got somebody. And even though those deals didn't turn into something, those first deals, it was impressive to see how fast they got the hang of it.
Yeah. And when one of those Zoom calls would turn into an actual client, they get 10% of the payment. So
yes,
it worked well, because the problem was we only have so much time to do cold calls, and it's very time consuming. So we tried to find a way, and we did find a way to kind of leverage other people to make more calls happen, reach more people, because that was really that's our biggest issue. The fact that not enough people knew about our business. So
publicity, definitely.
yeah, if no one knows our business, they can't buy from us. So that's what we were trying to do. Just get as many people to know about our business. Even if like they're the worst salespeople, never book a meeting, they're still calling people. They hear about our business, our names. They've heard our name at least once. So
And
more people know
after
about
this
us.
program, yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to say, after this program, there are for sure people in our state, New Hampshire, surrounding states, people all the way out to California, which for those that may not live in the US is on the other side of the country, that know the Quantac name. It may not be a large group of people necessarily, but there are groups of people that know us. And there's definitely business to business connections that are being made using our name, which is the entire goal. Of course, the goal was to get clients make money, but also to just get our name to be a little more known and not just be nobody,
Yeah, because the problem is for us is we know it's going to take time to really build up the trust until we can sign on a large number of clients easily. Right now, it's very difficult to sign on clients for us since we're such a new company and we're young. So the idea was just to spread our name, more people know about it, and it's worked. We actually have we've had a lot of, I forget, word of mouth advertising.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people are spreading our name around to a bunch of people they know, because it's so intriguing for a lot of people. We found that we're so young and we're starting in business, and every single person we've talked to that's a business owner and a lot of other people have thought it's amazing that what we're doing. And
it's a really good selling point.
They're definitely spreading that around to a lot of people they know, and it's great. We're having multiple new leads coming in every once in a while from just people telling their friends about what we do, and it's great.
Yeah, it's so passive, it works, But in the interest of time, I'm going to jump right into the end game here. So a quick synopsis of what happens past this. We get our contractors. We go through a few things. I believe it was Rob that was contacted by one of our contractors. Was it not? It might have been. It's very possible.
No, I don't think so.
No? Well, it may have not been Rob, but there are definitely leads that we still investigate following our contractors. They were a great team. They were efficient with their quotas, and we're always going to appreciate them. So, it worked great. Contractors, wonderful idea, kept us going for a while. But how we got into this end game right here, that we're just starting, we got from the early stages and now we're actually getting somewhere. And that was because we just started to we revamped everything. We got Cole, you put in so much work for a new website.
Yeah.
We are obviously here starting this podcast. This is definitely a new branch of the business. We branched out on social media. Posts have been going out well. We made connections with multiple graphic design teams. We made rapport. We're going to be signing more clients soon. This all happened so fast. It went from I don't want to say zero, maybe like 20 to 100 very quickly. I'm very happy to be able to say that.
It's kind of like the saying, what, like the sun shines brightest after it rains, right?
Exactly.
And it took multiple months of straight grinding and like
a quarter of a
just
year.
like really wondering why we were doing this to ourselves when like we have so many more years beyond us.
Yep.
And why we're doing this. We couldn't tell ourselves, but we just kept doing it. And eventually we just had a breakthrough, and
Right there. And here we are now.
Really what I can say to everyone, if you haven't started a business or maybe you are starting one, what I can really say is when people online say that it's super easy, that you can spend only like 7 hours a week on like working and you can grow something really big and successful, it's not going to happen. It takes a lot of effort to push through the fact of getting your name known, especially if you start without any connections. It takes a lot of energy and effort to get your name known, to get your company known, to learn about the things you need to know to make your business successful. And you can't accomplish that in 7 hours a week. We have put so much time into this business constantly. And at first, when we were first getting started with all other businesses, and the reason they failed was the fact that we felt like it would be easy. We could simply set this thing up and we just make passive income.
Yep.
And the reason those failed was we were still under that assumption that would be the case. And once we figured out it was going to be a lot more work, we gave up because we believed you could do something without a lot of work. And eventually we came to the realization that that's not the case. And we started just putting in the grind, and it's worked out for us. So that's my 2 cents.
You just got to put in that bit of work. It took us a quarter of a year. It could take you a month. That's not likely, but it's possible. It could also take you 3 years. But the thing that I'm about to say has been said countless times before by so many other boring people on the internet. Never give up. We didn't, and we're growing faster than ever. And we're only, I turned 17 yesterday, so I can't say I'm 16 anymore. We're minors, we're so under old. 18 and we're doing this. We're so old now. I know, but it's been a long road and we still have a lot ahead of us, but it's, once you get that light at the end of the tunnel, everything becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it's awesome, but let's end this thing. And, this is the launch. So go ahead and click play on episode 2 and we'll see you there. But before we end this, I have a couple of closing words that I would like to mention. As of the release of our podcast, it is going to be November 8th or someday around there, depending on technical release difficulties. And that is close to the American holiday Thanksgiving. And I have on my desk here a couple of cans of jellied cranberries, and that is for a food drive that our school is putting on. So if you have any local food drives, I recommend just going out, buying a couple of cans of, just canned goods, maybe even some like turkey or something, and just donating it to maybe a charity of some sort in your local area, a food drive, anything like that. It doesn't cost you much, but it helps lower income families have a good Thanksgiving and definitely helps them eat for a bit. And, you can even make a habit of it every week, just donating something little. It helps a lot. So just make sure you do something like that if you get the chance, of course, and we recommend it.
Yeah. And if you're struggling with social media, just go download our 7-step guide I was just talking about. Mm-hmm. You can get that at quantechmarketing.com/free guide. And all you got to put in is your email. So then you'll be on our email list forever, unless you unsubscribe. But
Well,
I'm
we
not
don't
gonna do
recommend unsubscribing from
Yes.
that, but I guess you
Never
can if you
unsubscribe.
want. Yeah.
that.
It was.
It's a
It's
great
good though.
guide. Go get it, and you also get a free meeting with us. So if you want to, we can get on this meeting with you, go over all of your marketing, and tell you exactly how you can fix it completely for free. And we're also going to try to sell you on our services, obviously. But
Oh, we will.
you know,
And
if-
you'll buy. You will.
if you don't buy our services, you'll still get a lot of value out of it.
You're
So-
banned from the podcast. Like, did we mention that this is for customers only? Like, I think we have to make that clear.
Yeah, you guys, starting now, you got to pay
Yeah.
$700 a month for this podcast.
Hey, an episode, okay? 700 an episode. This is valuable info they need.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, but later on, when we run ads on this podcast, a percentage of those proceeds will go to a charity that we'll change that some, but we'll probably change monthly, something like that. And maybe we'll do a Twitter poll depending on those charities. But that's in the future, and we'll be looking more into that. But we do intend to do a lot with charity based on our social media income, and just kind of get that good word out there. But on top of that, this has been the first episode of Eating Glass. And
Yep.
do you have any closing words, Cole?
We've been chewing some glass, I'll tell you
Oh,
that.
yeah. Stomach is just starting to get full. I'm not gonna lie. More to go through. So
Yeah.
we'll see you all in the next episode, and thank you for listening.